welcome back to my channel. It's Janet, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. All right, we're keeping it really casual today, everyone. This is a day off for me. So I have just finished actually my walk. I am starting to walk again. I want to start out by 2 or 3 days a week. So I have already gone for my walk today. And so it was really nice to get back out there. It's really, really hot still during the day, so I'm trying to get out there in the morning. So I've already done that, and today is going to be another protein sparing modified fast day. So I thought that I would record what I'm eating today, and I also have a new recipe that I want to share that you can have on your protein sparing modified fast days. All right, so I am going to start off by breaking my fast. It is 11 o'clock, and I am going to make a coffee. I'm gonna make it a little bit differently though, because we are concentrating on a higher protein and lower fat today. So let me show you how I'm going to make my coffee. All right, so just in a normal glass today, because I am staying at home, I just have some ice and some water filled a little bit over half. And I'm going to be using the Javi coffee concentrate. You guys know that I love this stuff, and I need to get a dropper. So I always have the link for the Javi coffee down below in the description if you are thinking about trying it. It is very, very good and definitely worth it. It gives you 30 servings depending on how much you are using. I use 2 teaspoons for my iced coffee, but some people have been using just 1 teaspoon, and that has been good as well. So I'm just going to add the 2 teaspoons of that. And I always put a splash of skinny syrups. This is salted caramel today. I'm always loving caramel, so I'm going to put a splash of that in there. Then I'm going to use my 2 packets of my sugar substitute. This is what I prefer. Feel free to use whatever you want. I've tried like the stevia and everything, and I just don't prefer the taste of that. I always seem to come back to this, so this is what I use. And then I'm going to be using a tablespoon. Actually, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of this. This is an oat and coconut silk half and half. The macros on it are pretty darn good. So for 1 tablespoon is 1 carb, and this gives you a lot of flavor. It doesn't taste like oats or coconut, I feel like. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of that. I'm kind of limited to what I can have in my coffee because I am allergic to all nuts. So feel free, if you find something that works for you, like an almond milk substitute, go ahead and use that. And then I am just going to top it off with my unsweetened silk coconut milk, and I am going to fill the rest of it just to the top with this. And for this, for a cup is 1 carb, so I probably use about a half a cup. So definitely low in carbs if you're thinking about an alternative. And that is it. That's how I'm going to make my iced coffee today, because we are concentrating on more protein and lower fat. So I technically just left out my heavy whipping cream because that does add, I think it's 10 grams of fat. And this way is lower in fat, low in carbs, and definitely not high in protein. But feel free to add even a protein powder to this to make it higher in protein. So this is going to be my coffee. So I have to make some more of the protein sparing modified fast bread. So I will link the recipe actually in the description that I am using. I am going to be adding some xanthan gum to this recipe to see how it turns out. So I started out by lining my loaf pan with olive oil. I spread it all around completely on the outsides, and now I'm going to get started on the bread. So let's do that.
Club will go all night. I see you in the back, the mood is right. If I just had your number, I to let you know how I feel.
All right, I am ready for my first meal. It is 10 after 12, so let me show you what I'm having for my first meal, and I will also be sharing my macros as well too, so let me show you. All right, so for lunch today, or my first meal anyways, is I'm going to be having 2 slices of the protein sparing modified fast bread. I had froze this. I left it out to defrost, and it still tastes the same way as it does after I bake it. So just so you know, you can freeze this bread. And I'm also having 6 ounces of elk burger because we are hunters, and I added 1/4 cup of pasta sauce, so I'm going to be having a sloppy joe. So I'm just going to put this over top of my bread. I might heat it up for a little bit, and then I'm going to eat it. So let me show you the final product. This is going to be meal number 1. How good does that look? Sloppy joes. Sloppy joes for me for first meal of the day. I'm going to throw this in the microwave for about 30 seconds or so, just to heat everything up. But this looks absolutely delicious. And I also just took the bread that I made out of the oven, and this is it. So I'm going to let it completely cool. I'm not going to be having another slice today at all, but this will be definitely for my upcoming protein sparing modified fast days.
Walk up to me, start dancing to the music and the chase, like this was meant to be. Take my hand, I feel my heartbeat.
Oh, this is a close-up of the bread. Always turns out really, really good, following the instructions that I have. Really, really good. So I'm just going to package these up. Like I said, freeze a few of them, and then I'll have a few for the rest of the week. I'm going to make a dessert that I'm going to have after my second meal, but I want to make them right now because they do kind of take a longer process. I will have the recipe linked down below, but I am going to be making some meringue cookies. And this is what you can have as a dessert when you're following the protein sparing modified fast lifestyle. So let's get started. All right, first we are going to take a cookie sheet and we are going to line it with parchment paper. And you're gonna wanna make sure that your mixing bowl is completely dry and everything for this recipe. And we are gonna take 4 large eggs because we will need the whites for this. I'm going to keep the yolks just aside, and I can use them for another recipe. So you're gonna need 4 large egg whites, which we are gonna put in the bowl. So I have put my 4 large egg whites in my mixing bowl, as you can see, and I also add 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. So I also add that to the mixing bowl before I start, before I turn it on. So as you can see there, there's the cream of tartar. So I will add that, and then I will turn my mixer on. Sorry, I have to do a voiceover for this part. Jimmy has been working on Zoe's room. We had to kind of finish some details around the windows because we did get new windows last year, so he had to case that in. So next I am going to add your choice of sweetener. So I have erythritol on hand, but feel free to use whatever sort of granulated sweetener that you have. And I added 3 tablespoons of that while it was still mixing. So by this time I already have some stiff peaks, so I added the sweetener then. And then what I did next is you will be mixing 1/4 cup of confectioner's swerve and 1/4 cup of unsweetened cacao powder. So I will do that in just a second. Here you can see that I am just taking it off of the edges just to make sure that everything is really, really well combined. And then I just start my mixer and just give that a good mix to make sure that everything is well combined before I start even with the confectioner's sugar and the cacao powder. So one thing actually that I did is I put it in kind of a mesh strainer just to get all the lumps and everything, because I haven't used my cacao powder in a while. It was still in date, but you know, sometimes when you let it sit for a little while, it does get a little bit clumpy. And since this is meringue and just a little bit more sensitive to stuff like that, I wanted to make sure that it all like combined really, really well into the meringue. So you're just going to put it in a bowl off to the side, and you're going to mix the confectionery sugar, and then you are going to put in the 1/4 cup of cacao powder. And I just put that all together in my bowl, and then I just gave it a quick stir to make sure that everything was well combined in my bowl before I added it to the meringue. So this dessert was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, actually. It was nice to have something sweet at the end of the day of my high protein days. And I still have some left over, so that was good. I'll be able to have it all during the week. So I'm really enjoying this so far. I've only had a couple days of my protein sparing modified fast, and I'm finding it really hard to concentrate on the protein instead of the fat. And I think I've just been keto for, it's been almost 2 years now. And I feel like it's going to take a while for me to catch on. So that's why I've been writing out my protein sparing modified fast days as far as what I'm eating in my meals, so that I can get my macros and figure out meals. Because it's really hard when you can't just grab some meat and cheese or some bacon and eggs. You kind of got to think about it a little bit more. So it's been challenging, but I am getting the hang of it. And how is everybody doing that is doing the protein sparing modified fast? Are you adjusting well coming off the keto? Let me know down below in the comments on how you are doing, what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Let me know. So now what we are going to do is we are going to fold in that mixture of confectioners, sugar, and cacao, and we are going to do it in thirds. So right here, I just took 1/3 of that mixture and folded it in my egg whites that I had done. So just make sure you're doing that 1/3 of a time. I think it makes quite a difference because just to get everything well combined into the lemon meringue, I think that's definitely the key here, because it is a chocolate meringue cookie. So just make sure you get it all well combined, and you're folding it in. And I was kind of worried that I wasn't doing it right. I'm not an expert on baking or cooking, honestly. So I kind of had to mix it in a little bit rather than just folding it in. But it didn't seem to affect the outcome of the meringue cookies. So you will want to preheat your oven. I believe it is 225. And this takes a while to cook. So that was the only thing why I wanted to get it started before dinner, is I wanted to have these after dinner. And you bake them for an hour in the oven. So that's why I wanted to get a start on these in the afternoon, so that they would be done by the time supper was over, and that I could have some, because I am doing either a 16 or 18 hour fast in between like my eating window. So I try to have my meals done fairly early, like definitely by 5 or 6 o'clock, and then I'm not eating anything afterwards. So definitely wanted to get these done and in the oven. So next, what you're going to do is you're just going to put them on your baking sheet, and these make 12 cookies. So definitely worth it, and very, very simple, easy recipe to make at home for yourself for your protein sparing modified days. Sorry, I had to just put you guys on mute because we are doing a little bit of renovations in Zoe's room and getting it all ready for her when she comes down. So I will have the recipe linked down below though, but I am now ready to put these in the oven. Preheat your oven to 225. This makes 12 cookies, meringue cookies. So let's put them on the parchment paper.
I was falling through the air. No one but myself to hold my hand. Standing in the shadows.
So Jimmy is frying up some steaks. These are elk steaks. So I am going to be measuring out 6 ounces of that. And he is making himself some rice with that. The rice is here, and he makes like kind of like what is it, Jimmy? Like a spicy rice, or yeah, with egg and stuff like that, onions and some hot sauce. But I will just be having steak for my dinner. I am also going to have one of the slices of the protein sparing modified fast bread with a little bit of butter, which I will measure out because that works in perfectly with my macros. And these are the meringue cookies that were all done. So it, like I said, it made 12 of them. So there's 10 here, and I left these 2 out because this is what I'm going to be having after my supper. So I will show you my final plate once supper is all done. All right, I'm just gonna quickly go over my macros since I have written them out here. But this is for a protein sparing modified fast day today, which is on a Sunday. So for my iced coffee, sorry if you can hear the water running, Jimmy is washing dishes as he's cooking. I had my coffee. The circled part is my totals for all of that. So this was the total that I had for calories, fat, carbs, and protein. And then my sloppy joes, which I had, and this was my macros for that, 440 calories, 14 fat, 4 carbs, 63 protein, and then for my elk steak, which is with the 1 slice of bread, 2 teaspoons of butter, and 2 meringue cookies. And the total for that, I guess I must have just worked it in with my grand total, but my grand total is 808 calories, 28 grams of fat, 9 carbs, and 111 protein. So I'm really happy with that. I'm a little bit over on my protein, but I'm not too worried about that. So all in all, I'm really happy. So once I get the hang of it a little bit more, I'm sure I'll be able to put it in my Fitness Pal. But for now, I just like writing it out, changing things out that I need to, and you know, making it fit my macros. So I'm just going to be using pen and paper for right now for these protein sparing modified fast days. So that is what my macros are looking like for today. All right, and here is my final plate. That is 6 ounces of elk steak and 1 piece of the protein sparing modified fast bread with 2 teaspoons of butter on it. And I'm just having it with my ice lemonade. So that is going to be my last meal, and it is just a little after 4. We're eating early today. All right, supper was absolutely delicious. Jimmy made an amazing supper, and that bread, that new loaf that I made today, was so good with that little bit of butter on it. It actually tasted like real bread and butter. I kid you not. It was really good. So a good, definitely high protein meal. So it is now time for the meringues. So let's give these a taste. I will taste them on camera so I can let you know how they taste. These are pretty good. These actually are like a light, dessert, and it's like a melt in your mouth kind of flavoring once you bite into it. Really good for that extra little something sweet after you eat, considering it's like on a high protein day. So highly recommend making these, and it'll give you something sweet that you can have on your protein sparing modified fast days. Thank you for joining me today and watching me on my protein sparing modified fast day. I hope you got some ideas and try those meringue cookies maybe for your next protein sparing modified fast day. So like I said in my previous video, I am starting to do it on a regular basis. So I have a variety of videos where some are keto and some are the protein sparing modified fast days. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button. Give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.